2 feet burned across scorching Sahara sand, carrying a mother 7 months pregnant toward a fence in Melilla. Decades later, a different set of legs tore down a floodlit touchline in New Jersey. Defenders left grasping air behind him. One bloodline connects both journeys, though only 30 years separate them. Tonight, my friend, we trace that thread from desert dust to World Cup gold. Before we go further, answer this. Did anyone in your family ever cross impossible distance just so you could stand somewhere better? Type it below. This story lands differently once you do. Maria Arthur was 7 months pregnant when she and her partner, Felix Williams, left Ghana for good. The year was around 1994. They had saved money for passage to the United Kingdom, paying smugglers who promised safety and organization. Instead, the smugglers abandoned them halfway, pocketing every coin the couple owned. What followed tested more than money could measure. 40 people packed into the open back of a truck, bodies pressed against bodies, dust coating every face. Days of travel became a blur of heat and fear. Some of the people on that truck never finished the journey. They collapsed, and others buried them where they fell. Then came the Sahara itself. Maria and Felix crossed on foot, without proper shoes, sand burning beneath them at temperatures near 50 degrees. Nico would not learn the full truth about his father's feet until he turned 18, nerve damage, permanent. The sand had scorched away, feeling itself. They reached Melilla, a small Spanish territory clinging to Africa's northern coast. A border fence stood between them and safety. Maria and Felix climbed it anyway, arriving on Spanish soil only to be detained soon after as undocumented migrants, facing deportation back toward the desert they had barely survived. A lawyer working for a Catholic charity offered one piece of advice that likely saved their future. Claim origin from a country torn by war, he told them Liberia, not Ghana. Immigration rules bent differently for refugees fleeing conflict. The couple followed his guidance, and it worked. In Bilbao, a priest stepped in next, helping the young family find documentation and steady work. Connections led them further into Spain's Basque Country, where a stranger named Iñaki opened doors nobody else would. Grateful beyond words, Maria and Felix later named their firstborn son after him. Nico Williams entered the world in 1994, the first member of the family born on Spanish soil. 8 years passed before a second son arrived. On July 12, 2002, in the city of Pamplona, Nicholas Williams Arthur was born. 2 brothers, born years apart, raised inside a household built entirely on resilience. Neighbors in Pamplona remember a quiet toddler who rarely cried, content simply watching the world around him. That stillness disappeared the moment a ball touched his feet. Nico chased it through hallways, down stairwells, across any open patch of concrete he could find, small legs already faster than boys twice his age. Work pulled Felix toward London, where he found steady employment as a maintenance electrician, later landing inside Stamford Bridge, home of Chelsea Football Club. Fixing wires beneath a stadium his sons would one day dream of playing in themselves. His absence meant older brother Iñaki filled gaps a father usually fills, walking young Nico to school, watching over him through every difficult year. Struggle became the family's quiet teacher. Nobody in that household spoke often about the desert, the truck, or the fence. But something from those days lived permanently inside both boys, a hunger, a gratitude, a refusal to take comfort for granted. Long before either brother touched a professional football, they had already survived something far harder than any opponent. Football entered Nico's life early, the way it enters most Basque childhoods, through neighborhood pitches and older brothers pushing younger ones to keep up. He started at a local club in Pamplona before moving through Osasuna's youth ranks. By 2013, Athletic Club had seen enough. They brought an 11-year-old boy into their academy, the same academy his brother had already conquered years earlier. Athletic Bilbao operates differently from almost every other club in Spain. Their roster fields only Basque-born or Basque-raised players, a philosophy nearly a century old. For two brothers born to Ghanaian parents but raised entirely within Basque culture, that identity mattered enormously. Nico grew up speaking the language, eating the food, absorbing values the club held sacred. He belonged there, fully, regardless of where his bloodline originated. Coaches at the academy remember him as small for his age, but impossible to dispossess. Shoulders low, feet quick, always finding an extra half step nobody expected. One youth coach later joked that teaching Nico patience felt pointless. His instinct to attack space had arrived long before any drill could teach it to him. Progress came steadily rather than explosively. Nico spent 2019 and 2020 with Baskonia, Athletics' feeder team, sharpening pace that scouts had begun calling dangerous. Promotion to the reserve squad followed in May 2020. Less than a year later, in spring 2021, he made his first team debut at San Moms, coming off the bench during a league draw. Nobody watching that substitution could have predicted what waited 3 years ahead. Iñaki had already established himself as Athletics' captain by then, and starting in 2021, both brothers wore the same red and white shirt together. Picture that scene for a moment: two sons of refugees, standing on the same pitch their father once could only dream about from a construction site in London. Nico's game carried a specific danger: electric pace on the left wing, close control at full speed, defenders left grasping at shadows. Season after season, his numbers climbed. 8 goals and 18 assists arrived during the 2023-24 campaign, numbers that finally forced Spain's national team selectors to take notice. Then came April 6, 2024, Athletic Bilbao reached the Copa del Rey final against Mallorca at Seville's Cartuja Stadium, chasing a trophy the club hadn't lifted in 40 years. 90 minutes ended level. Extra time solved nothing either. Penalties would decide history. By the time the shootout ended, Nico had delivered the pass that led to Athletic's only goal that afternoon. Athletic won on penalties, and he was named man of the match, the player judged most responsible for finally ending 4 decades of waiting. Days later, nearly 1 million supporters lined Bilbao's Nervin River, watching Athletic's historic Gabara boat parade carry the trophy home. Somewhere in that crowd stood a family who once crossed a desert with nothing. Now their son carried a nation's oldest football hunger on his shoulders, and he had just fed it. Spain's senior national team was watching too. A bigger stage waited only months away. Summer 2024 sent Nico toward Germany, wearing Spain's jersey inside a tournament few expected his country to dominate. The opening match against Croatia went poorly. Nico later admitted he barely deserved a passing grade that night, nerves swallowing sharpness that had defined his club season. Confidence returned gradually. A commanding win over Italy followed. Then, match after match, Spain kept advancing while barely looking troubled. Luis de la Fuente, the head coach, trusted his young winger completely, pairing him alongside an equally fearless teenager named Lamine Yamal on the opposite flank. Together, both wingers turned Spain's attack into something defenses simply couldn't solve. July 14 arrived, and with it, the final. Berlin's Olympia Stadium held England on one side, Spain on the other, two nations separated by a single trophy. 70,000 voices rose and fell with every touch, red and white flags rippling across entire sections of the stands. Early in the second half, opportunity opened. Yamal drove forward on the right, drew defenders toward himself, then slid a pass across the box exactly where Nico expected it. He didn't hesitate. One touch, then a finish inside the near post. Spain led 1-0, and Nico Williams had just scored in a European Championship final. England responded through Cole Palmer, leveling the match and threatening to steal history away. Spanish supporters held their breath through anxious minutes, memories of previous heartbreaks lingering in every mind. Then, deep into the contest, Mikel Oyarzabal rose to meet a cross and buried Spain's winning goal. 2-1. Spain stood as champions of an entire continent, and Nico Williams stood among the players who made it happen. Judges named him Player of the Match in the final itself. Recognition for the goal that started everything and the relentless running that never stopped. Somewhere inside that celebration, Nico thought about people who weren't there, grandparents he never met, a homeland he'd only heard described in stories, and parents who once walked barefoot toward exactly this kind of impossible outcome. He rarely spoke about it publicly that night. The silverware said enough. Weeks later, reflecting on the goal itself, Nico called it one of the most important moments of his entire career. Simple words, spoken quietly, carrying weight most players never accumulate in a lifetime. Success invited temptation immediately afterward. Barcelona wanted him. So did clubs across England and Germany, dangling transfer fees that could have changed his family's life overnight, sums large enough to make most 22-year-olds sign without hesitation. Nico chose differently. In July 2025, he signed a 10-year contract extension with Athletic Bilbao, turning down bigger paychecks for something he valued more: belonging. "I am where I want to be," he told reporters, "with my people. This is my home." That loyalty would soon face its biggest test yet on the largest stage football offers. Spring 2026 nearly ended the dream before it began. A hamstring injury struck Nico in May, sparking fear that his World Cup might vanish entirely. Medical staff worked quickly, clearing him within 3 weeks, though doubt lingered right up until the opening whistle of the tournament itself. Spain entered Group H, facing Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay, opponents considered manageable for a squad this talented. Nico lined up once again beside Lamine Yamal, the same partnership that had dismantled Euro 2024. Together, they formed what many pundits called the most dangerous wing combination anywhere in the tournament, stretching defenses until gaps appeared exactly where Spain wanted them. Match by match, Spain advanced through the knockout rounds, their possession-based system suffocating opponents who couldn't match their rhythm. Nico's pace remained the release valve every time Spain needed a spark, tearing down the left touchline while defenders scrambled backward, rarely catching him in time. Commentators started calling him and Yamal the fastest problem in international football, a label that followed Spain all the way to New Jersey. July 19, 2026 arrived the World Cup final, Spain against Argentina. Inside a stadium in New Jersey, 90 minutes of tension unfolded before a global audience, two football nations chasing the sport's ultimate prize. When the final whistle blew, Spain stood victorious. World champions, for the first time in over a decade. What happened afterward mattered more than the scoreline itself. Cameras caught Nico walking straight toward the stands, searching through thousands of faces until he found one specific woman. His mother, Maria, stood waiting, tears already forming. Nico lifted his gold medal over his own head and placed it gently around her neck instead. She once escaped death and crossed the Sahara to come from Ghana to Spain, he told reporters afterward. I run very fast, but I can't run as fast as my mother. I am who I am today because of her. The clip spread before Spain's own celebrations had even finished. Commentators in booths half a world away stopped mid-sentence to react, and within hours it reached people who had never watched a single minute of football in their lives. They understood something universal inside it anyway, a son repaying a debt no trophy could ever truly settle. Remember the desert from earlier, my friend? Remember burning sand, a border fence, a truck packed with 40 desperate strangers? That same woman who survived all of it stood inside a stadium in New Jersey, wearing her son's medal, watching everything her sacrifice had purchased. Nico Williams didn't become Spain's World Cup hero by outrunning defenders alone. He became one by carrying his parents' entire journey inside every sprint, every match, every medal he ever won. The desert never left him. It simply changed shape, becoming fuel instead of memory. Which part struck you tonight, my friend? The burning sand, the border fence, or a son placing gold around his mother's neck? Tell me below. I read every reply before I rest.